Hey guys, Stephen Cox here, and today we're going to be looking at a blues rumba bass line. In fact, we'll be looking at two. So if you like videos like these, please hit subscribe below and consider becoming a patron for the sheet music for this lesson and many others. So we're going to look at two different bass lines. The first one is fairly simple. It's just a one-bar clave rhythm with arpeggios from the chords that we're using. The one-bar clave rhythm sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now that we know what the rhythm sounds like, let's talk about it a little bit. The first hit is going to be on beat 1. 1 and 2. And we're going to be counting in eighth notes because the next one is going to hit on an upbeat, and that's going to be the upbeat after beat 2. So 1 and 2 and. After that, we don't play anything on beat 3 or the and after beat 3. We wait all the way until beat 4. So our hits are going to be on beat 1, the and after beat 2, and then beat 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what I would do is practice clapping that rhythm just to get used to the sound, or you can practice plucking it if you want to. If you don't like clapping, you can go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just on any note. So let's do that together real quick on an A note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now that we have the rhythm, we're just going to add the arpeggio to that. So our first chord in this song is an A chord, A major. So we're going to be doing an A major arpeggio. That's going to be an A note, a C sharp note, and an E note. So if you're not familiar with the note names, that's the 5th fret on the E string, the 4th fret on the A string, and the 7th fret on the A string. And I like to use my middle finger for the 5th fret, my pointer finger for the 4th fret, and my pinky for the 7th fret. That way I'm staying in one position where my middle finger is getting all the 5th fret notes, my pointer finger is getting all the 4th fret notes. If we had any 6th fret notes, my ring finger would be getting those, and the pinky will get the 7th fret notes while we're in this position. And the way I decided to put my hand in this position is basically I'm putting my middle finger on the starting note. So if we're playing an A chord, I want to put my middle finger on the A note, and that's the 5th fret on the E string. So 5th fret on the E string, because that's an A note, 4th fret on the A string, and 7th fret on the A string. So now let's do that with this one-bar clave rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, great. So now that we've got that, we're going to move this around the 12-bar blues pattern. Our next chord is going to be the 4 chord in the key of A, which is a D chord. So we're doing D major arpeggio for this. So that's going to be the same idea. Same frets and everything. We're just moving everything to a thinner string. So if you started on the 5th fret on the E string before, our D note is actually going to be the 5th fret of the A string. So we're going to use the same grid. We're going to play the 5th fret on the A string, the 4th fret on the D string, the 7th fret on the D string. And we're going to do the same 1-bar clave rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you might have noticed that on the first chord, the A chord, I did 4 times through this pattern, and when I went to the D chord, I only did it 2 times. That's because in the 12-bar blues, we do our first chord, our 1 chord, 4 times before moving to the next chord, which is our 4 chord. If you don't know what that means, that's okay. But we're going to do that 2 times in a row, and then we're going to go back to the original one, back to the 1 chord, and we're going to play that twice as well. So here is our 12-bar clave rumba blues pattern from the beginning up to where we are. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Back to A. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, so now that we're at this point, we're going to move up to an E chord, and in this case, we're going to play the E as the 7th fret on the A string. So put your middle finger on the 7th fret of the A string, and then basically we're in this grid right here where we've got pointer finger getting all 6th fret notes, middle getting all 7th fret, ring, if we had any, would get the 8th fret notes, and our pinky is now getting the 9th fret notes. So this is an E major arpeggio. It's the same shape. We just are scooting it up 2 frets now from where the D chord was. So 7th fret on the A string, 6th fret on the D string, and 9th fret on the D string. And we're only going to do this one 1 time. Then we're going to go back to the D shape because it's a D chord after that. And then we'll go back to the A shape 2 times to round off the ending. So the E shape, 7th fret, 6th fret, 9th fret, and that was the 7th fret on the A string, 6th fret and 9th frets on the D string. Then we're going to slide that back down to where our middle finger's on the 5th fret. And that's going to be the 5th fret on the A string, the 4th fret on the D string, and the 7th fret on the D string. And then we're going to go back to our A chord after that for 2 measures. So we're going to go back to the 5th fret on the E string and do that pattern there twice. And that's our whole 12-bar blues if we get from where we started to this point. So let's just do that ending first where we're starting on the E chord. And after that, we'll play through that whole line. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, so now we're going to go from the beginning all the way through, and we're going to do it about the same tempo. So here we go, all 12 bars of this pattern with the 1-bar clave rhythm as a rumba blues. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and the D chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and back to the A chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and to the E chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 to the D chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and back to the A chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's it. So now that we're 12 bars into this line, we have a variation that's very, very common. I've first heard this in Crosscut Saw, but there are some other songs that use it as well. I can't remember what the name of the other one was, but there's a Freddie King song as well. So Albert King and Freddie King have both used a variation of this bass line. Basically, it starts with the 1-bar clave pattern, and we could play it like this. And it adds a note before the 3rd hit. So it's adding a few notes to the one bar clave pattern. So that's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So there's a couple of extra notes in there. Now you could play it there, but I like adding a little bit to the line. So I like sliding into that second note. But I don't like reaching back to do that. So what I do is, instead of playing the 5th fret on the E string going to the 4th fret on the A string, I play the 5th fret on the E string sliding into the 9th fret on the E string. And that 9th fret note is the same as the 4th fret note on the A string. So now that we know that, what I'm going to do is play the 5th fret on the E string, then I'm going to slide into the 9th fret, so I have a little bit of a bloom into it. And then I'm going to play the 7th fret on the A string to the 9th fret and back to the 7th fret. Once again, those 3 notes were on the A string. So that whole pattern is... Okay? And so we'll do it the same number of times that we did with the other pattern, because this is still the 12-bar blues. And then at the end of this line, I added an ending to it, so the last measure will be slightly different. Now that we've got the notes, let's talk about the rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the first note is going to happen on beat 1, 1 and 2. The next note's going to happen on the and after beat 2. And we're going to slide into it to where we end up on the note right when it's the and of beat 2. 1 and 2 and. So when we hit the note, we're hitting that and starting our slide at the same time. I'm sliding from the 7th fret into the 9th fret, but it really doesn't matter. You could do the 8th fret into the 9th fret or the 7th fret into the 9th. The more important thing is that you end up on the 9th fret and don't go past it. So when I'm playing this, I pluck at the same time I start my slide. So it's kind of like pluck slide. It's just barely before the slide starts. So I'm not going, but I'm going. So it's almost like the motions happen at the same time. Okay. 1 and 2 and 3. Nothing on beat 3. But the and after beat 3, now we're going to play the 7th fret on the A string, and then we're going to play the 9th fret on the A string on beat 4, it's beat 4, and then we're going to go back to the 7th fret on the A string for the and after beat 4. So let me demonstrate that really slowly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? So now let's play that together 4 times in a row. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 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 Now we're just going to do that same exact pattern. We're just going to move it down to the D chord. So we're going to be playing the 5th fret on the A string, sliding into the 9th fret on the A string, and then doing 7, 9, and 7. Those are frets. 7th fret, 9th fret, and 7th fret on the D string. So it's the same pattern, the same rhythm. It's just every note is moved to 1 string thinner. Okay, so let's do that one 2 times there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Alright, so the next step is just moving back to the A chord. So we're going to start on the 5th fret on the E string and do the pattern 2 more times there. So let's just do everything up to that point, starting at the beginning of this new bass line. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. A and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 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 and and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now we're ready for the E chord. So on the E chord, that would be playing the 7th fret on the A string, sliding in from the 9th fret to the 11th fret on the A string as well. Okay, and then once we do that, we're going to be playing the 9th fret, the 11th fret, and back to the 9th fret on the D string. So let's put that together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're only going to do that pattern once there. So let's play that together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we're going to go back to the pattern that started on D. So that's going to be the 5th fret on the A string. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we're going to go back to the A. So that's the 5th fret on the E string. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then our last measure is just going to be a little cha-cha-cha ending. We're going to play the 5th fret on the E string once on beat 1, and then on beat 2 we're going to play the 7th fret of the D string 3 times. 1 and 2 and 3. I'm going to play the last 2 measures of the piece. That's going to be one of our normal pattern followed by the cha-cha-cha measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's it. So let's try starting from the E chord and going from there all the way through the ending where that cha-cha-cha measure is. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now let's play that entire line from the beginning of the second line all the way through the ending. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and back to verse. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, so now let's play with the backing tracks with the drums, the first line going into the second line without stopping. Alright guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed learning a rumba blues on the bass ukulele, U-bass, or any bass guitar really. So if you like videos like these, once again, please subscribe, consider becoming a patron, and like the video. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you again for watching.